Hi everyone, and thanks for checking out that video. That one is about WTI. I'm going to have a look at the chart, then move to the quote report, trying to get some ideas for next week. It's been a very active week on the WTI for me, mainly trading that rising wedge we're having here. That's the hourly chart. That is the one I'm looking at because, yeah, again, that's the only way to really capture the volatility on short time frame. So I had this rising wedge. Just change the color on this to make it a bit clearer. Say here. And here. So that wedge got broken here, so the target was actually to get to the origin of the upper trend line, as you do usually on a rising wedge. So the target was trading to $13.5, but on the way down it did actually stop earlier at just slightly below 16 before moving back up in some sort of a triangle here. So I think that's invalidated. Also, the rising wedge I think is still valid. So if I take some longer time frame, that's too much, but the 4 hours, and that we report the pole of that flag here, would have a target that's actually sitting quite low, around $5. That could be the actual target for the end of the month, but yes, we will see if we get there. At the moment, back on the 30 minutes, the price did move. I think that was on Friday, inside that triangle here, and the Bollinger Bands are actually tightening quite significantly, so we can expect early next week some move, either up or down. In my opinion, it should go down because of the selling pressure, because of the price action, but I have no position on WTI at the moment because I do want to see what would be the flow basically on Monday, to get an idea if it's still valid to go short, because on that kind of reduction of volatility here, it can go either way, and quite big moves could happen. So rather be on the right side on that one. So I'll be having a look. Bias is on the bearish side, trying to short this market, but again, don't exclude a new attempt to break above 18, even if that area between 18 and $19 will be really hard to break, in my opinion, especially on the June contract. But as you never know what can happen with WTI at the moment, very careful with trading there. Having a look at the quote report, found it quite hard to understand actually. So the quote report was between these two blue lines, so it was only downtrend. It was a bit of a bounce back at the bottom here from when we reached 9, or actually much lower at 7, but pretty much only on the way down. But still, we had falling open interest, quite big, which is a sign that the move would not go further down, but that's almost, yeah, a given with that level. It could barely break lower than $6, I think. But the managed money kept adding long during that move and reducing short. And also the swap dealers were still edging against the long, potentially because of the low prices. They don't think that long term it can stay there, so they are hedging that position. But yes, still a little bit unusual, given that we might actually continue to go down. So keeping an eye on that, and keeping that in mind, that the smart money is still adding long to the WTI. So yes, one explanation of course could be all the retail traders closing their long position, or forced to be closing position because of the massive move down. That's a possibility. We can see they were edging as well, because a fair bit of short contract added, and of course the producer, they were selling heavily into the move. So that would be the explanation why the price went down so hard. But still, would have expected the manage money, to have not added that much long, and certainly not having added so many shorts in that move. So next week will be definitely interesting. As I said, still looking at going shorting this market, but open to any changes should this actually materialize. As usual, and especially with WTI, trade safe with the position size. Be really careful not to overexpose yourself, because that's a very dangerous market at the moment. I'll speak soon. We'll have a look at this next week again, and yeah, safe trade. Cheers, bye.